The f is he saying, bro?
Like, I mean this in the most respectful way possible. But if there was ever a time to call ICE, the Super Bowl halftime show is when y'all should have called him.
Why would I watch the halftime show or care if I don't understand what he's saying?
You say y'all trying to go do anything else but listen to this? All right, come on.
I gotta use ChatGPT to understand this. Oh God, boy. ChatGPT, can you translate what Bad Bunny is saying at the halftime performance for me? Bro!
This man. Golly. You can't sing. I mean, what is this? Golly. This is ridiculous. And got the American flag and all these other flags. And yeah, God bless you too. Get off the stage. Please get off the stage. Get off. Put the game back on. I can't stand this. Tell me that. I mean, what in the world is all this foolishness? Thank you. Get off the stage, please. Jesus.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talking here today. You know this video is coming. So here's my reaction to the halftime show. I ended up watching the Bad Bunny performance because, I happened to be invited by a bunch of Puerto Ricans, so they ended up watching it with me. And at first, I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was like, okay, I don't understand a lick of what he's saying, but hey, it looked good. And then I took the time to look at, the TPUSA halftime show. I was like, oh, okay. They singing it. I think there's such a starvation, right? Because end of the day, America football is a sport that's primarily and only played in this country. It's not an international sport like soccer or football if you're from outside of the US. And Bad Bunny's performance would have been perfect for the World Cup. But for the biggest culturally American event, the Super Bowl, and to have the performer only speak in Spanish, right? Like, I don't have a problem with multilingual performances. We had some with Shakira, we had some with Jennifer Lopez, but they got songs in English, they had some songs in Spanish, they had something for everybody, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, because these are what the left is using to defend Bad Bunny's performance here, and why Americans shouldn't feel disrespected from Bad Bunny speaking primarily only English, in Spanish, sorry. He wants to talk about we're all Americans, but then when Trump renames the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, these same people will be offended. Bad Bunny was probably offended by that. Make it make sense. And my ask here is, who is this show for? Right? And I think the reason why I have such a hesitancy from the Bad Bunny halftime performance is because it goes to show how entrenched globalism is in corporate America. Oh, we want the Latino market. Latinos ain't gonna watch American football like that. If they ain't Americano Latinos, they ain't watching no American football. They watching soccer. And no amount of pandering to them is gonna do anything. And you're gonna see the left and the right, right? The right, TPUSA had almost 6 million people at one time watching the live stream of their halftime show. That is a success for them. I don't care how the left tries to downplay it. It's a success. It goes to show, as you saw from the intro, pretty much the intro summarized the thoughts of America. Our biggest event, and you ain't speak a lick of English to the end. And all you said, God bless United States. That's all you said. Okay, that's all we got. You come in and be here, chauvinistically coming up with bragging about Puerto Rico, a territory that half your population is on food stamps. So you bragging about that, right? You putting except EBT. Come on. The whole stage was set up for the camera. It wasn't set up for the people in the stands, as you saw in the intro. And I think the left can't stand it. The left want to call black people, white people, right, racist because we didn't like the Bad Bunny performance. This gaslighting ish ain't working. Read the room. And it seems like corporate America, the left, are not reading the room. And I put this meme here appropriately because when I asked my Hispanic speaking wife, right, my Hispanic descended wife, hey, what is he saying? She was looking at that Bart video on the bottom. Like, you see the meme on the bottom? That's how she was looking. She was like, oh, he mumbles. I don't understand him. I'm like, who is this for? Who is this for? That's the question I asked. Who is this for? The virtue signaling leftists? Like, who is this for? Nobody understood what he was saying? Spanish speaker, non-Spanish speaker, no one was understanding nothing. Our halftime show, folks, and you wonder why TPUSA had 6 million concurrent viewers watching their live stream on YouTube, making it the second most streamed video of all time on YouTube platform. Hey, some people said this is a groundbreaking event, and even some polls, like I think TMZ tried to make a poll about Bad Bunny's performance versus TPUSA, and it didn't go as they expected.
There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and he'll give you a second chance till you can't.
If most people don't understand the lyrics because you're speaking it in what they deem to be a foreign language, that is a legitimate point that the president made. That part. That doesn't mean they had a problem with it. I'm just saying his statement that most people didn't understand anything he was saying. There's millions upon millions of Americans that would have wanted to hear something in English other than Lady Gaga. That is true. And me personally, been nice to see J-Lo out there. Been nice to see Shakira out there. Been nice to see a few people celebrating their Hispanic heritage, no doubt. But it also would have been nice if some of the songs were in English. That's all. The president is speaking on behalf, or was speaking on behalf of tens of millions of Americans who are like, I didn't understand a word he was saying because I don't know Spanish. That is a valid point.
You're getting the biggest artist in the world. And if you're the NFL and you like capitalism, why not? So I don't know why these socialists hate capitalism so much, and they hate a company doing what's best for their bottom line, but they obviously do. I feel sorry for them. Maybe they should read some Noam Chomsky, because this is American capitalism at its best.
Yeah, it was purely American, the capitalism and the message. And
we should have been celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America at that halftime show. When I went to school, I was taught English. I wasn't taught Spanish, so I don't know a word he was saying. You know, we're in the United States of America. We're an English-speaking language. They should have at least put a closed caption on there or something so you could understand what they were saying. And the dancing, I've seen the same thing at a strip show, just with the clothes on, the way they were doing on TV. There's no reason for that.
So many people didn't like the video, right? You know, some people think it wasn't appropriate for the Super Bowl, right? This is the TPUSA halftime show, right? Somber, professional, commercialized. This, I don't know who they carrying into. And this is my argument, right? As you saw from the segment, and you see two men gyrating there. Come on. When I saw that, I was like, where's my kids? I'm telling you, from a cultural sense, it's not relatable to most Americans. Maybe Latin America, like Americano Latinos, they like this. Maybe they vibe with it a little bit. They like, hey, I understand where you come from. Our culture's kind of like this. Okay. But this is America, right? And you're playing this stuff, right? And this idea that, oh, you're against capitalism if you don't like the halftime show. It's obvious that the NFL is trying to expand their market. And I'm like, isn't the point of capitalism is to know where your bread is buttered, to know who's your main core consumer base? Is it people in Puerto Rico? No, people in Puerto Rico, they watch soccer. right? They watch boxing. They don't watch American football like that. And you're willing to disrupt your main source, your main consumer base at a chance, not even a guarantee, a chance they might watch your sport. There's more Puerto Ricans here in America than in Puerto Rico. And they know how to speak English. They at least understand it to some degree. And you couldn't even throw us a bone. A bone. Make it make sense. You saw from the intro, Stephen A. Smith, right? Sports analyst, not really a political person, center left person, if I had to give him a political designation. He admitted, yeah, it's valid criticism. TMZ, like, oh, who had a better halftime show? Bad Bunny or TPUSA? TPUSA is going to win that because the people who are voting your poll, TMZ, understands English, reads English, writes English, speaks English. So if a show versus a show that you don't understand the language versus a show you do understand the language, who's going to win in an American, in an English speaking country? That's a dub poll. Like, it's ridiculous. But this is the kind of like international globalism that I think many Americans are tired of. This is where the America First perspective is coming from. You're here trying to internationalize the sport, but at what cost? I digress, man. It feels like a lecture, right? And I think this is one of the reasons why I think a lot of people didn't like the show, and I think that's why a lot of people started giving TPUSA's halftime show a chance, because they're like, I don't understand any of this. Let me find something else. Oh, look, this is all-American show. Fine, okay, I'll watch it. And now TPUSA has a chance to disrupt this business model that the Super Bowl have going on. And they still tallying up the numbers, but some people say that TPUSA had 20 million views on their live stream channel. It should be more by the time of me recording this video. All right. Super Bowl had like 47 million people watched the YouTube video of it. Competing like that. And now we're getting to, the reactions, right? Because, I can't end the video without a live commentary reaction. So here's Megyn Kelly going to express what I believe many Americans felt about the halftime show. I constantly put the point on this idea that America has to apologize for itself is over. I don't know what the I don't know what's going on with the rest of the world, but Americans are tired of apologizing for being Americans. We're tired of being patriotic for our country be demonized by the left. And this is why I don't take the left seriously. The left, the white liberals specifically, are the only group of people who have a negative bias against their own skin color, against their own race. Only in America you will find Americans that are anti-American. Make it make sense. This is the left. The left always complain about, the right has being patriotic isn't only belong to the right. Yeah, sure, you're correct, but the left go out of their way to be anti-American, especially when they're not in power. They're only American, they're only pro-American when liberals are in power. The halftime show, the reason why it's so unpopular with many Americans is that it came across more like a political rally than an actual show. And that's a fact. But I digress. Piers Morgan and Megyn Kelly are going to debate about the halftime show.
But to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event.
Read the room. This is what I tell the NFL. Read the room, right? Joe Scarborough trying to make this case that it's somehow good capitalistic principles to alienate your main consumer base. Like I told you, it's American football. This is not an international sport. It's a sport Americans created for themselves in the country that happens to be popular in the country. Your main consumer base, 95% of them speak English. And you put a halftime show where 95% of them didn't understand a lick of what was going on. Let me be more charitable. 90% of them didn't understand a lick of what's going on. I don't know how many different clips or contexts I have to show you. Bars, in their homes, across different colors, races, right? Mexicans, other Puerto Ricans, they don't understand what he was saying anyway. And you think it was a good look, NFL? And then the left is trying to downplay what TPUSA was able to accomplish. Name me a left-wing show that got 6 million people on a live stream to watch it live as it was going on. Name me an equivalent on the left. Even if the Super Bowl still beat them. Super Bowl, I think Bad Bunny got 135 million viewers on the halftime show, but I don't think that's because of Bad Bunny. I just think because it's the Super Bowl. But I digress. And this is the cultural impact that I think that, hey, one thing when conservatives protest, we protest differently. You put out something that we don't agree with, we take our money, we take our dollars somewhere else. That's how the right protest. And I like how the right protest. We don't have time to be on the streets causing traffic problems for our fellow Americans. No, we'll hit you where it hurts. Okay, no more money for you. No more attention for you. And the left can't stand it because it to me, it's more effective than whatever the hell they do. They tend to do. Attack ICE officers, call them the N-word when you're a white liberal. Yeah, that's some very effective protesting. But I digress. Enough of my ranting. Let's finish the video.
For the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish-speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the national language, officially the national language of the United States of America?
I mean, English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official.
You don't have one.
Documented thing.
You don't have one.
You don't have one. What's the country? What's the founding document of the country? I'll wait. What language is it in? I thought so. The Constitution is in English. The Bill of Rights is in English. There's no Spanish translation of it. We all know what the official language of the United States of America is from a cultural standpoint, right? And every attempt to make it the official language by law, who fights against it? Democrats. Trump passed an executive order, but obviously that could be overturned. So from a technical standpoint, we do have an official language. In certain states, like here in Florida, we pass a bill where you have to, all the government documents, from my understanding anyway, it has to be in English. We're not doing this multi-translation thing. No, you have to assimilate. Oh, you're trying to do a gotcha. Oh, retard. Like, what? Canada's official language is French, I think. They speak English. They speak both languages. They go French. Sometimes they switch between the two in mid interview. English, French. But every attempt to try to make America English the standard language across the board, Democrats fight against it. That's what I'm saying. Only in America where people try to shame you for being proud for where you come from. Only here in America. But everyone can be proud of where they come from. Oh, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Mexicano. I'm this, that, and third. But God forbid you say I'm American. I'm proud of the red, white, and blue. And you get shamed for it. What? And you wonder why Americans voted for Trump? If you're not from America, this is why Trump won. This is why Trump won. I'm being serious. This is why Trump won. Because all the other politicians that the international community, the globalists like, Americans don't like. Because globalism, from an American standpoint, is put America last. Make America the whipping boy for the benefit of the world. And that's what was portrayed by the Bad Bunny halftime commercial. Oh, you need to speak Spanish. You need to understand Spanish if you're going to listen to my halftime show. This is the Bad Bunny, right? But God forbid America goes, no, you got to speak English. You got to write English. You got to read English. You got to learn English. Oh my God. You're trying to take away my culture. But you don't have that same respect for the American audience. And then the liberals will try to downplay, oh, it wasn't that bad. Racist liberals, right? Because there was a segment in that little show that Bad Bunny was trying to perform. He gave his little Grammy thing to some kid. And all the liberals thought it was the Liam Ramos kid from the ICE, the 5-year-old, the one that the liberals were trying to say that ICE kidnapped him. Yeah, they thought it was that kid. And I'm like, look how racist the liberals are. Every Hispanic kid looked the same. Every black kid looked the same to a liberal. Because all they saw was skin color. This is the kind of thing that pisses me off. You put a political rally in my face and you try to say, oh, this was good entertainment. And then when Americans are giving valid criticism to this entertainment. You want to try to label them racist? Look at the gaslighting from the left. That's all they have left. The left is not persuasive whatsoever. This is why they have to go through all this stuff. This is why they have to use children for their political messaging. Because on their own, they can't, they're not persuasive at all. But, you know, I digress. Let's let Megyn Kelly cook here.
If you would have let me finish my comment, I would have pointed that out, but people have been pushing to make it official.
Okay,
Right,
so
now let
you're
me tell
trying
you
to make
something.
official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture. You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim. It's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances.
Exactly. Like, everyone keeps telling me, oh, Puerto Rico's a territory of the United States. Cool. But he don't see himself as American. Ask Bad Bunny who you are. Oh, I'm Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's what he's gonna tell you. Oh, we all America. He didn't perform like we were all America. Like, think about it. If I'm trying to cater to the entire continent, North and South America, right? I'm gonna have some displays in Spanish, some in English, right? Making sure that I cover my bases. I got Brazil, Portuguese, right? I'll diversify. I make sure everyone. Oh, okay, I know that. Like, I'll try to include everybody. But let me ask you a question: was Bad Bunny's performance inclusive when only 10% of the population understood what the hell he was saying? I rest my case. But we are all America, and that's how I took it. It was a middle finger to people like me. You didn't want to include me. You're partying at our expense. That's how I took it as an American. And then you have all these Spanish people, not all of you guys, but the progressive Spanish people talking about, oh my God, everyone's gonna see how good Latin music is. And you chose Bad Bunny. Bad choice, by the way. People said if you picked Daddy Yankee, it might have been better. Hell, Pitbull would have been better. Pitbull would have been 1,000 times better because Americans actually know Pitbull, and you can still do the catering to that Latino community. And Pitbull would have probably brought on other Hispanic or other Spanish-speaking performers. But no, you chose a guy that don't speak a lick of English, who's making all these political messaging, right? From the Grammys, he lost. Oh, you better speak English. You better speak Spanish to understand my stuff. Okay. Don't get mad when Americans start returning the same energy. And I feel I sense something. I don't know what it is, but I sense something bubbling in America's culture, right? Where it's like enough. That's what I sense coming from Americans. But you can, international community, y'all can keep playing with America, because this international community won't exist if America wasn't defending it, if America's tax dollars wasn't funding it. But yeah, we'll see how it pans out. But let's wrap up the video.
Or anybody else, we have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American. Not Spanish, not Muslim, not anything other than good old-fashioned American apple pie. There should be a meatloaf, maybe some fried chicken, and an English-speaking performer. That's what the Super Bowl should be.
Yo, I don't know, man. This to me, this was a bad business decision from NFL, because how I see it, this could easily become a Bud Light 2.0 for the NFL. Easily, right? The Black National Anthem stuff, we was kind of offended by it. You know, people started tuning out of the NFL starting from there, because the NFL was allowing political actors to use their business as a platform. And then we see the same mistake again. Because it's one thing. It's one thing tolerating an American making the Super Bowl into a political platform, like the Kendrick Lamars and the Black National Anthem. It's one thing when Americans try to make political messaging on an American platform. You know, you're gonna be mad about it, but you ain't gonna be that mad. It's right. It's like your kid breaking stuff. You're gonna be mad your kid broke something, but you ain't gonna be as mad as you would be if a stranger broke your stuff. And that's how we felt. That's how I felt. That's how a lot of Americans felt about Bad Bunny doing that on our stage. I'm just saying. You can downplay TPUSA's viewership all you want, but 6 million views at one time, at the end of the video, 20 million views on YouTube? The social media platform where everyone's getting their culture stuff from, everyone's getting their viewership from, right? Because we're in a transition period. 20 million views on a live stream, and the left's trying to downplay that as nothing. Okay, keep playing with it if you want to. I see trends. Trends are leading indicators, right? Super Bowl's relying on its cachet, on things it built 16 years ago. Look at the Super Bowl performances of 2016 versus now. You used to have Super Bowl commercials, Super Bowl performances where the crowd got into it. You can visibly see the crowd was into it. But now, there's a reason why they didn't pan. The cameras didn't pan to the crowd. No one was dancing. But I digress. I'll leave it off right there. Let me know your thoughts and perspective about the Super Bowl halftime show. You agree with me, and you believe that it came more across as a political rally than an actual halftime show, as an American anyway. And if you're an American that's Spanish speaking, did you understand the hell what Bad Bunny was saying? Because I translated some of the lyrics. I was like, wow, I'm glad my kids don't quite understand English, Spanish like that. But hey, this is what the NFL thought was good for most American families to see it. And that was his censored one. I imagine his uncensored one. And I'm from Miami. I know who Bad Bunny is, right? I hear his music all the time. I know who he is. But, I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me on the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.